L crosses the finish line to win Match Race France. Bruni wins and takes Match Race Germany.
Bjorn Hansen is the new king of the Korea Match Cup.
And Ian Williams takes the second race and the win here in Portugal. Williams wins Stena Match Cup sweep.
The Upper Engadin is one of the most scenic valleys in Switzerland, residing at 1,800 metres above sea level. At its centre, it boasts one of the most popular holiday destinations in the world. Breathtaking snow-capped mountains, impressive alpine scenery and secluded lakes. This is St. Moritz, and home of the St. Moritz Match Race. This is the 6th event of the ISAF World Match Racing Tour, where some of the world's best match racers will be sailing blue 26s as they compete for the 150,000 Swiss franc prize purse. Match racing is a complex game of rules and tactics, but with the game in a nutshell, here's Andy Green.
Match racing is the most gladiatorial sailing discipline. It pits two boats against each other on a very short racecourse. The two teams battle for advantage during a 4-minute period before the start gun, then sail upwind to the top mark where they hoist spinnakers. Turning back downwind onto the run to the leeward mark, the spinnakers must be dropped for the second lap. The races usually last 2 or sometimes 3 laps, and the action is umpired on the water using a system of flags. Each boat is assigned a colour, either blue or yellow, and the sailors raise a red and yellow flag to protest if they think their opponent has broken a rule. The umpires announce their decision, raising the appropriate blue or yellow flag to signify the boat that has offended. If a red flag is raised as well, it means the infringement is more severe and the penalty, turning the boat through 3/4 of a circle, must be taken immediately. Otherwise, the penalty can be taken any time before the finish. The first to cross the finish line is the winner.
All 12 teams are here to win themselves the event title and be crowned King of the Mountain. But the 8 tour card holders attending also have their eyes on another prize. It's the ISAF World Match Racing Tour title, and any points claimed here could help them secure it. But with only 2 events left before the final in Malaysia, time is running out for the teams to move up the tour leaderboard. And with few points between them, the top 3 may look unbeatable. But the beauty of the World Match Racing Tour is that anything can happen. Tour director Craig Mitchell has all the answers when it comes to the complexities of becoming this year's world champion.
So we're here in St. Moritz, which is event number 6 on the World Match Racing Tour, and we're really into the business end of the series now. And by that we mean that all the tour card holders have all got to start scrambling to get some points on the board. Certainly the guys that are looking to score as many points as possible are Mathieu Richard, Damien Hill, Bjorn Hansen, Torvald Mersky. They all really need to up their games to collect more points here. They're here, they've got to get on the podium in order to give themselves a chance to take that World Championship title.
So it's still all to play for in St. Moritz. the perfect playground for any sports enthusiast. But there's one reason in particular that sailors come flocking to the regattas here. And it's something tour leader Francesco Bruni will be thinking about if he wants to maintain his lead.
We are here in St. Moritz, top of the world, and we have the beautiful Maloja wind. This place is famous for the Maloja wind. It's a strong wind, pretty nice, shifty, but in the same time strong. It comes from the land. Every wind comes from the land here, obviously. We are in a lake, but the Maloja wind is by far the best wind here. It's a thermic wind, and it's usually a sign of good weather. Behind me is the race course. It's a crazy race course, wind from everywhere, very hard to predict. We have wind coming from every direction, especially when it's cloudy or rainy. And when it comes from the north, it's also very, very hard racing for us. Very hard to predict the wind shift, and there can be some huge holes in the race course. Our records in St. Moritz is not great. We have been here twice, and once we were in second in the round robin, and we lost in the quarter-final against Philippe Presti. And last year out of the quarter-finals on a tie-break situation. So we need to sail better this year, not to have those sort of problems, and to get at least to the semi-finals. We feel strong. It's about having your lucky week. I'm always wearing this hat, and I think it's a lucky one. I was wearing that in Sweden as well, but it didn't work. I'm giving him a second chance this week.
So with a good knowledge of the typical sailing conditions here, it's time to test the boats out on the racecourse. And we hopped on with Francesco and his crew to see what they could tell us.
The Blues 26 are good boats for this lake in St. Moritz. They are pretty light boats, all 4 person, and they are fairly quick, either in light wind and strong wind. You don't need much wind to get them going, so they are perfect for these conditions. They are pretty good also in flat water, and you got flat water here. The steering system is a pretty basic one, tiller extension, very normal for this size of boats. The spinnaker is a normal, traditional, symmetric spinnaker, quite big in size for this size of boat, and that's why downwind they go pretty fast.
I'm Pierluigi De Felice, I'm a trimmer on Bruni Racing team.
Matteo Guadro, bowman.
My name is Massimo Bortoleto, I sail with Bruni Racing team. My position on the boat is the main.
We really like this boat because they're very physical, athletic. It's a lot going on during the race, and it's very shifty.
I have to help with the trimming. I'm busy looking at the path coming on the lake.
I really like it because finally we race in the small boat too. Normally we have big boat.
I have to do much more job compared to the boat where we sail in 5.
It's a little bit more athletic and memory of when you were young and sailing with a small boat.
It's a very good boat, accelerate very quickly.
And it's very, very, very nice for us to be sailing here. We're pleased to use this boat.
The team in the lead seem confident after practice, but they can't relax yet. They've got some serious competition. Welcome back to stage 6 of the World Match Racing Tour, the St. Moritz Match Race. It's not long until we reach the final event, and although they can't relax yet, the 3 teams at the top of the table have a real chance to increase their lead. Currently in second place, Peter Gilmore is absent from this event, giving third placed Ian Williams a better chance than ever to rocket to the top. His team have won 2 events in a row, the Portimao Portugal Match Cup and the Stena Match Cup Sweden. But could they make it a hat-trick? We caught up with the team who seem to have the winning formula.
This is Team GAC Pindar. We have Bill Hardesty on tactics, Matt Cassidy on the bow and Jerry Mitchell trimming. Well, it's important when picking a team to get the right blend of skills on board. We have to be the right weight. It's important to be up to the weight limit. Also to get the right chemistry with the different personalities on board. We are still learning about each other and about each other's traits. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're still working on. Well, I think where we've been strong is we've won the bouts where we haven't been sailing as well as at other times. We've had very strong moments. Sweden was a great example. What we did well was coming back from not sailing that well and actually getting our elbows out a little bit, doing a bit of street fighting and coming through and winning. Come on. I've always said that on the World Match Racing Tour it's very hard to really build momentum because we were in Sweden with a 5-man team on the sea. Now we're here in St. Moritz at 1,800 meters on 4-man boats, very shifty winds as a big thing. I think it's really about the case of us starting again, really, thinking about this event specifically, what's going to be important here, and then going out and trying to execute that.
My name's Jerry Mitchell, I'm 40 years old and I'm the trimmer on the boat.
Bill Hardesty, age 36, tactician.
Matt Cassidy, 33, bowman.
This team on the water is very structured. Everybody has their defined role and responsibility.
It's quite different sailing with Ian, that you're heavily involved with most parts of the match race and you feel a lot more involved in the team and the wins.
We somehow gel really well together, and you can't really put a finger on it, but when we go out and sail, everything clicks really well.
So far, we've been able to put some pretty good regattas together, so we keep doing what we can do.
The toughest part of the job is the physicality of it, I think. Definitely, I'm probably one of the older guys here, and it's one of the more physical jobs on the boat.
Yeah, what's the tough thing about being a tactician is partially making decisions, but you have to kind of go through life making decisions in a lot of ways, and if you're worried about making bad decisions, it's not a good job for you.
I guess the excitement, trying to make sure all the boat handling's as flawless as it can be, so I don't screw it up for these guys.
No, I think obviously Francesco is a long way ahead in the World Match Racing Tour, but with the way the points work and the discard system, you really just need to wait till the end to see how it all shakes out. I think going into Malaysia, that's when the pressure really comes on. Until that, you just got to go out and treat each event, as a single event and try and get as good a result as you can.
So for the 2 tour leaders, this event is a chance to creep ahead. But for those at the bottom of the tour leaderboard, it's a fight for survival.
Johnny Burnson, skipper in the Burnson sailing team. We're on 34 points, 10th place in the tour. We had an average start of the World Tour season. This is the first season for us.
Waka Racing, 9th place, 39 points. Our goals at the moment have changed quite a lot since the start of the year, and I think we're just aiming to get into the top 6 after the next 2 events.
Mathieu Richard, French Match Racing team, 8th place, 53 points. The goal is to go on the podium at the end of the season.
French Match Racing team, 7th place, 57 points. The point is possible to win the title, and I stay focused event after event.
The Wave Muscat, 4th place, 59 points. Quite a few points behind Francesco Bruni in the leaders, but we're still in with a chance for the world title, so just going to go out there, do our best.
Adrian Lee Partners, 4th place, 59 points. We're aiming for a podium position. Probably means going to the podium every time, and we need to definitely do a top result in the monsoon at the end.
The event kicks off with the qualifying stage, where all the teams race each other once. It's crucial to win as many races as possible, as the 8 teams with the most wins go through to the knockout stages. In St. Moritz, the winner of the qualifying round goes directly into the semi-finals. So there was plenty to play for when the teams hit the water. In the early rounds of qualifying, the two French tour card holders, Damien Hiel and Mathieu Richard, showed some classic match racing manoeuvres.
Hiel to windward and Richard is to leeward. Richard clearly looking to win the pin. He's very tight on the ley line. And Damien Hiel looks like he's going to be forced to tack away. Just holding that windward berth as the gun goes. And Richard nails the pin. Very tight there indeed. And Hiel forced to tack away immediately, so first blood goes to Mathieu Richard. Richard winning this event last year. Looking to defend, tacks back onto port. Looks to be in a good position, but they've got to go all the way to the right-hand side.
Yeah, on the start against Damien, we wanted to start at the pin end of the starting line, because it was a bit favor at the pin, and we thought that there could be some good left shifts on the beat. And on the very right of the beat, they got a right-hand shift. So we tried to libo them, but we were not in a good position for libo, and they managed to stay in windward of us. And then both boats arrived in the zone overlap, so he was inside boat and he was entitled to room.
Puffs of breeze coming downwind. The skipper's trying to get the best line of pressure to try and roll down on top of Hiel, who is still ahead. As Spinnakers come down, Hiel is a little bit late and is bound there, just struggling to get the Spinnaker in. Not a good drop on board Damien Hiel's boat at all. Richard much more under control with better speed. And Richard just manages to squeeze inside, but did he hit the sticks? Looks pretty bad to me, and the umpires agree that is a blue flag, so that's against Mathieu Richard. And Richard has managed to squeeze ahead, but the problem is he's got a penalty outstanding, he's got a penalty against him, he's got to find a way of either getting enough distance in between the two of them to do the penalty, or put a penalty on his opposition.
When we are leading with a penalty, the goal is always to try to increase the lead, and really at the end, if we see that we don't have enough lead, we try to slow down and to wait for the opponent. It's an appreciation of distance.
Don't think he can do it. Just doesn't have enough lead. In fact, not even close. Damien Hiel is within 2 boat lengths. So Mathieu Richard is going to have to squeeze it around the committee boat. He's going to try and have to force his opposition into a mistake. At some point, they've got to decide that slowing down is the best option.
Generally speaking, we try to create an envelope which can offer you some possibilities. There is also the possibility to go in the zone of the committee boat. When you are the leading boat and you reach the zone, if the other one follows you in the stern, it's good because you can have the possibility to tack twice.
So here we go, decision made now, get the Spinnaker down. Hiel's still trying to keep clear and he's matching Spinnaker down. They're past the committee boat on the wrong side of the finishing line. So Richard trying to push Hiel up, trying to force him into a penalty. As on board with Richard squeezing past the committee boat. Now Hiel has to try and get around the top, and he's going for it. He's still got to keep clear, remember, and here goes Richard for the luff. Richard luffs, and there's the pin end of the line, and Hiel's going for it. He's going to try and get within the circle, allowing him to get down towards the finish. Hiel just squeezes around, he calls for room. Richard has to give it to him, and Hiel takes a much-deserved and hard-fought win.
Richard may have lost this match, but there were still plenty more teams to sail. Join us after the break for the outcome of the qualifying stage. Welcome back to the St. Moritz Match Race. As the teams locked horns in the agile Blue 26s, there were tight manoeuvres, tricky wind shifts and some fast-paced sailing. And inevitably, we saw some big names going home. For Phil Robertson and his team, this was their first time in St. Moritz. And despite 2 straight wins on the last day of qualifying, their overall performance just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it's been really difficult, to be honest. We've really battled all week. Today was perfect. We won our last 2 races, which is ideal, and probably put us up the board a little bit higher than we were, so that's fantastic, and that's what we're after. But I don't think we're going to get through. I think we're 1 point shy of making the top 7, and we may get to 8th, which is a normal regatta top 8 quarter final, but here's a little different. So I think, yeah, we'll struggle to get to 7, and I think it's out of reach now.
Also making his St. Moritz Match Race debut was Jesper Radich. He faced Torvar Mirsky for his last race, but couldn't pull a win out of the bag.
We had our final race against Torvar Mirsky in the round robin here. Unfortunately, we were in the situation where it didn't matter too much about the result. We might have been 9th or 10th, depending on the outcome of that race, but for sure not moving on to the quarters, which is really disappointing, and it's a little bit of a nail in the coffin for our dreams of doing well on the tour. That's it. That's it. That was tough. Shifty breeze and a little bit difficult boat to sail for me. Everyone's got the issues, but I guess I had a harder time than most to figure out how to deal with it.
The final showdown of the qualifying saw the 2 heavyweights go head-to-head. Francesco Bruni against Ian Williams. It was a race that could prove pivotal to the world title standings, and it saw the fall of the current tour leader.
Well, last race was a good start by us. We were leading the race. We had a little bit of a stretch in the beginning, then they came back, and at the top mark we had a 1.5, 2 boat lengths lead. Unfortunately, today was not our day. When we ran the mark, there was absolutely no wind. They came from behind with a puff. I mean, they overtook us. The match was still pretty close, but when they were leading then, the wind went completely to the right, and there was a one-way track, and it was easy for them to keep the lead. Well, obviously, it's a big disappointment for us because it's the 2nd time after Sweden that we don't get to the quarterfinals. It's a big disappointment, and we have to deal with it. We are going to try to fight until the last moment to get a little closer to have a chance in Malaysia.
So the tour leader went out early, paving the way to a shake-up on the tour leaderboard. At the end of the qualifying stage, the scores looked like this. The formidable team GAC Pindar took first place, advancing them straight into the semi-finals, and the remaining 6 took to the water for the quarterfinals. First up, Johnny Berntsen chose to race Pierre-Antoine Morvan. Their first race saw some gutsy manoeuvres in the pre-start. We join Andy Green for the action.
Johnny Berntsen, an experienced hand on the World Match Racing Tour, on starboard holding out Pierre-Antoine Morvan, one of the new boys, but Morvan does a great job of getting out of the port dial-up where he was in a little bit of trouble. And Berntsen now is on the port side, the danger side of this pre-start. Here comes Morvan right at him, and Morvan has turned this around completely. Berntsen having to avoid. And we're on board with Berntsen. He's just trying to hook Morvan because Berntsen looks like he's early for the pin. Difficult times here for Johnny Berntsen. Boats get very close. Berntsen pulls out the Y flag. And I think, well, there the umpires. Look at that. That's a sea of flags. But the crucial thing here, Berntsen over the line. Morvan got a penalty, but Berntsen got a penalty as well, so they're cancelled out. Look at that. Morvan sails away. Berntsen has to go and recross the line.
Berntsen couldn't catch up with Morvan after his poor pre-start and lost the race. It seemed his pick of opponent had come back to bite him as he went on to lose the next 2 matches. Johnny Berntsen was going home.
It's always tough picking your opponent because in this field it's so many good sailors. We picked Morvan because we thought we had some advantage in the pre-starts against him. Unfortunately it was a bad choice. He did a really good job and he and his crew sailed really well today and beat us with 3-0. So not much to say about. They were the best crew today.
Next to race was Damien Yell, and he faced Bjorn Hansen. It seemed that Yell's fate was going the same way as Berntsen's. He lost the first 2 races, leaving a third must-win match. We join Andy Green for the dramatic pre-start.
Old foes Damien Yell from France and Bjorn Hansen from Sweden need to go at it for sure. And already action, white flag from Hansen. Yell looked pretty close to Hansen's stern, and there are the umpires. Yellow flag, that's against the Frenchman Damien Yell. Yell now luffs Hansen. Hansen avoiding to keep clear, has to, he's windward boat, but it looks like Yell luffed him too quick. Umpires decided yellow flag. Frenchman cops another penalty, that's 2. So now Hansen just has to do a safe start, which he does, puts the bow hard down. Yell has to do his penalty, and surely this is night-night Damien Yell.
Hansen goes on to lead all the way round the course, taking the score to 3-0 and knocking Yell out of the competition.
Yeah, it was a fantastic quarter-final series for us. I mean, we came in as the last crew and we felt that now we have everything to win and nothing to lose. So we said just go out and have some fun. We made some good starts and then we sailed very well on the course too. So yeah, the guys are doing a fantastic job and it's really fun to sail today.
We lost the start, the first, the second and third. The third is very, very bad.
Damien can be quite aggressive sometimes. We experienced it a couple of times, especially in the pre-start in one of the races when he came and fishtailed us behind, and as soon as it was 1 millimeter overlap, it was 4 guys just shouting, "Whoa!" And they were focusing more on shouting than on sailing, I think.
It's not so bad to the result. The team work, the work team is very good. I think the maneuver is clean, and but just my pre-start is not very famous, and I'm not happy for that.
The last quarter-final pairing saw Mathieu Richard face Torvar Mirsky. 2 tour card holders, and only one would make it through. Their quarter-final was action-packed. The racing went back and forth, with both teams desperate to make it through to the semi-finals. In Flight 4, Mirsky had a good start that eventually won him the race, despite losing a crew member overboard just off the start line.
The spinnaker halyard and the jib halyard are the same colour, and I've been using the jib halyard to hike on the whole week. And I've wrapped the spinnaker halyard around my hiking, kind of around the drum, so I went to pull that to kind of get my legs out, and obviously kite went up and I went in.
We've had a lot on with Tids this week, and he's probably going to hate me for saying that, but it's been so much fun just having a new challenge, and Tids is not usually our bowman. Luckily he held on to the boat and it didn't cost us that much, but he picked himself up at the back of the boat.
So it was down to a 5th decisive race. We join Andy Green to see who would be going home.
Tied at 2-2, Mirsky and Richard. Very tight off the starting line. Richard getting the right-hand side, but Mirsky winning the sometimes favoured left-hand side. Certainly the skipper seems to be looking for this left-hand side. That's where the first shift tends to come from. Richard tacks back. Well, followers of the World Match Racing Tour will know Mathieu Richard's absolute expertise. And also we'll know about Mirsky's super skills. His young Tekka, he is doing great stuff. Look at that. Mirsky gets that left-hand shift on the left-hand side and is 3 boat lengths ahead of Richard. Towards the downwind mark and those streaks of pressure coming down the lake here in St. Moritz. And Richard stealing Mirsky's wind, it looks like. Mirsky, a bad jibe, douses the Spinnaker. Is Richard going to get inside? Mirsky doesn't think so. This is all about the overlap at the bottom mark. Well, Mirsky does the right thing. It looks like he's going to give him room. Gives him room and now puts up the Y flag very firmly. But Richard is ahead, remember. What do the umpires think? Richard cops a penalty and it'll probably be red because there was a change of control. There we go. Richard went from behind to ahead. So the umpires say instead of offsetting the penalty or allowing to do it later, Richard has to do it immediately. There he goes, penalty done. But look at Mirsky, great lead. Having said that, we've seen these sorts of leads disappear pretty quickly, but not this time. Mirsky jibing down towards the finishing line. Mirsky takes it 3-2. Great race.
Mathieu's a really tough competitor. He's very experienced. He's been #1 in the world, and you know we just knew that this was going to be probably the toughest quarter-final match out there. For us to take him down is a really good sign moving forwards.
This is very disappointing indeed because I felt that we've sailed very well during these quarters and at the end we lost, so that's frustrating for sure. When we have a call which for us is obviously wrong or unfair, for sure I'm frustrated, but I always keep in mind that during a season you can have calls against you but also calls in your favor. So I try to not to spend too much energy about it. Obviously after a bad result here we have no ambition about the title. We are too far away from the leaders.
So the quarterfinals said goodbye to 3 out of 4 tour card holders, which meant that joining Ian Williams in the semi-finals was Pierre-Antoine Morvan, Bjorn Hansen and Torvar Mirsky. Join us after the break to see if any of them could send Ian Williams home. The penultimate day of the St. Moritz Match Race saw many of the big names crash and burn. Ian Williams and Torvar Mirsky were the only tour card holders to make it through to the semi-finals, where they were joined by Bjorn Hansen and Pierre-Antoine Morvan. As the leader of the qualifying stage, Ian Williams had first pick of opponent, and he selected Morvan. Having knocked out some strong contenders already, Morvan looked like he could be the dark horse of the competition. Ian Williams sat out during the quarterfinals, so this was his first race of the day, and he needed to be on form to match Morvan's strong performance. We join them for their race.
It's the pre-start conditions, light but very puffy. So the streaks of breeze on the water are what the teams are looking for. And Williams early doors cops a penalty.
Okay, tacking now.
Morvan really giving Williams a run for his money.
Got to get going, easy mate. Come down, got to get going and get attacking here. Can we get it in, Bill?
Williams kind of in trouble here at the windward end of the line. He's got to get underneath Morvan.
Time! Main on. Come up, 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 up! Have we got him? Have we got him?
Come on up, come on, up. Come on up, yeah.
Into attack or not?
No.
Oh, it's going anyway.
Just manages it.
How can that be a green?
But Morvan definitely gets the better at the start. Williams got a penalty against him.
We're going to have to roll away at some point. I think now's the time. Here we go. Here we go. He doesn't... Calling him that. Okay, attacking now.
Morvan sailing cool and calm, just streaking away from Williams. Williams just seems slightly nervous in this semi-final. Remember, it was Williams who picked Morvan. Big lead coming towards the finish of the first race. Nice confidence booster.
Ian Williams suffered his first major loss and went into his second race desperate to prove himself. It was a real battle, with both boats over early in the pre-start.
Oh, looks like both boats are over. And Morvan is going to cop a penalty. Over the line, fouled Williams, possibly even hit the pin end of the line. So a really bad start for Morvan, terrible. Oh, he's got another penalty. He's got 2 penalties now. So Morvan's going to have to tack away and complete 1 penalty. This will give Williams a very comfortable lead. 2 penalties against Morvan. Totally messed that start up. There goes the first one. He's allowed to wait for the second one. So now the race is on. Morvan has got to try and catch Williams up. And boy, has he done that. Williams trying to jam his way into the bottom mark. Morvan looked like he was on starboard. Don't think this is good news for Williams, and boy, what a comeback. Oh, Williams cops a penalty, and it's immediate penalty. He's got to take it straight away. Williams looking at the umpires. What is going on? Oh, Williams furious. It's all falling apart.
Despite 2 penalties, Morvan manages to secure yet another win. The third race saw no improvement from Williams, and he went on to lose his 3rd race in a row. An incredible performance from Morvan, and a shocking dip in form for the team who'd looked unbeatable since the Portimao Portugal Match Cup. But Williams still had a chance to overtake Francesco Bruni on the Tour leaderboard, if he could take a 3rd in the Petit final.
Oh, it was a frustrating afternoon for us. I think the boat just felt like it was stuck to the water today. You know, whenever we looked, Pierre-Antoine just seemed to have more wind and be going faster.
It's just amazing. We came here to go in semi-final, so now we are in final. It's only bonus for us.
You know, maybe not having the quarterfinals this morning might have, you know, potentially hurt us a little bit. I don't think so though. We'll learn from this. We'll try and improve, and if we still got a chance of going top if we can get 3rd place tomorrow.
To fight for the remaining spot in the finals, Torvar Murski came up against Bjorn Hansen. Hansen won the first race, and it was up to Murski to level the scores.
Torvar Murski, Bjorn Hansen. This will be a good dust up for sure. Very close already. Murski flagging vigorously. That looks like Carl Langford, Murski's tactician, doing the flagging. What have the umpires got to say? Oh, looks like it's a penalty against Murski, and Murski starts right on the pin end of the line. And is he going to be able to cross Hansen? Very unusual start, but Murski really got the best of that. Murski clean ahead. He is off.
Murski led all the way to the second upwind, where he offloaded his penalty, and Hansen took the lead.
Umpires take the blue flag off. And as they get to the top mark, Hansen has just taken the advantage because Mirsky had to do that penalty. Final downwind. Not a bad set from Mirsky. Better set than Hansen. Hansen still hasn't got his spinnaker pole on properly. Big shift to the right-hand side. Mirsky got a nice puff of it. The real advantage here in St. Moritz of being the boat behind is that you can get the puffs and decide when to jibe. And look at that, Mirsky squeezes around Hansen towards the finish. What a race. Mirsky just got a little puff of breeze on the downwind to take the race from Hansen.
Mirsky went on to win his next 2 races, putting him through to the finals for the first time this year.
First final for 2011, and couldn't be happy about it. We've been quite consistent, always making it through the knockout or getting to the knockout stages, but the final we haven't made since Monsoon Cup last year. Plenty of second places to our record, and now hoping to change that.
Torber and his team, they are really, really good, and we talked about that before this season, that our goal is to get our crew work up to their standards, because we think that they are sailing the boats best in the world around the different types of boats. Yeah, it was 4 really tough matches. Unfortunately, we just won 1 of them. But we just sat down and said that we're pretty happy the way we sailed.
The last day of the St. Moritz Match Race dawned with no wind. The 2 finalists, Pierre-Antoine Morvan and Torvar Mirsky, waited patiently for racing to get underway to see who would be crowned King of the Mountain. With just as much at stake, Ian Williams waited to race his petty final against Bjorn Hansen.
Last day in St. Moritz Match Race, we're in the 3rd, 4th playoff against Bjorn Hansen.
If we win and beat Ian, we're more than 3 points closer to the top of the board.
When we get to Malaysia in a couple of months' time, I think those extra 3 points will be well worth having. So we'll be going out and certainly doing our best to try and get 3rd place.
So the teams were poised for action. But due to lack of wind, racing was abandoned for the day, and Torvar Mirsky was declared King of the Mountain.
Just so happy to do it with these guys. Got a great team, and we've had a bit of a roller coaster ride with my career recently, and just to get out there and show everyone that we're sailing well, we're a good team, and this is a great thing to do, and just so happy about our result here. Kinley had his mum and sister here. We've got some friends over from Sweden who are part of our fan club, and of course there's quite a few people here in St. Moritz that cheer for us, so it feels really special to do it here, and it's just a really good feeling. It's only our 2nd win on the tour. Our first one was like 3 years ago. We've come 2nd, in many finals. I don't know, 4 or something like that. So this feels like we've broken a spell now, and we hope that, after a bit of turmoil and a roller coaster ride with our careers, that we keep continuing on this winning streak.
When I come back to working with Graham, I'm going to have much more appreciation for the work he does. I'm going to be a much more useful tool for him.
And staying on the boat,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of feel a little bit bad for Graham though, missing out on this one. It's the first one we've won in a while, so he's got to be feeling pretty bad, America's Cup job or not.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, finally we won something, so it's been 2 years, and it's just a big relief that we finally broke the curse and ready to get back into it for Bermuda and Malaysia.
In 2nd place, Pierre-Antoine Morvan stood proudly above the tour card holders.
We are very happy to finish 2nd at this event. If you said me before the event you will be 2nd, I can't imagine that. So we are very happy.
Ian Williams won his petty final against Bjorn Hansen on countback, putting him in 3rd position at the St. Moritz Match Race and at the top of the overall tour leaderboard.
Happy, sad, I don't know. It's I guess we'll go away and be reasonably satisfied that we've made 4 podiums in a row now. We've had 2 firsts and 2 thirds, and it puts us in a good position on the Tour for sure.
So at the end of the St Moritz Match Race, with Torvar Mirsky first, Ian Williams third, and Francesco Bruni in 8th place, there was a reshuffle of the World Tour standings. There's still only a few points separating the Tour leaders, and with 2 more events left on the series, it's still anyone's game. Join us in Bermuda for the Argo Group Gold Cup to see who can clinch those valuable ISAF World Match Racing Tour points.